Hello. Welcome to Heartfelt Unknown Girl Society, the only welcome to the party Unknown Armies 3rd edition game where a cat person barista, a lovely they, is waiting to advise you to be at peace with each other, but also really wants to mix your favorite drink. Today, hopefully, you can hear me because sometimes I forget to check that. Is it working, everybody?
Yeah.
Hooray! Oh, I forgot to connect to chat. Okay, we seem to be going smoothly for a change. And let me thank our sponsors. First of all, we have Tabletop Looped, Devon Rue Mistress of Maps, So Nerdware, and Roll20. And if I remember correctly, I just say that. I don't do the whole spiel. But this hasn't been updated, so I'm just going to move forward. We also have our wonderful... Words are great. We have, oh, there we go. I can see everybody now. We have our players. We have Elizabeth.
Hello. I am Alexis and I play Elizabeth, who is a new age trash witch.
Wait a second. We also have Adora.
Yeah, I'm Connie O, and I play Adora, who is a radical teen trash witch.
Wait a sec. We have 2 trash witches.
Trash
What?
is great.
This is the Highlander. There can only be one.
We have Mara.
Hi, my name's Theater Nerd. I am not a trash witch. And neither is my character.
But your character probably has feelings about trash.
Maybe.
Landfills? Anyway.
Oh, yeah, that trash. I was thinking you were talking about Adora, but yes.
And finally, we have Minerva.
Hi, I'm Persephone. I play Minerva, who is an adept and a hieromancer at that.
And not so much about trash, but remains are a thing, maybe?
Corporeal remains are a thing.
My face is like really in shadow. I don't know how to fix
it. It is. I think it's because the windows behind you are really bright.
Yeah, I need to get new curtains that aren't like yellow.
Yeah, get like some black ones.
Anyway.
It doesn't even look like you have curtains. It literally looks like there's just bright sunlight coming.
Nope, they're curtains. They were picked up by someone else. They're a lovely orange. So, and actually, finally, we have Andy, who is running tech support, producing the audio and making everything look nice, because without that, we would fall apart and just kind of be sitting here rocking back and forth and crying. That could happen still, but it won't be because of technical problems. Okay, real quick, before we get into this, I want to review our safety tools that we will safety use. Is that funny? Is that a funny thing?
It's a little funny. I could see what you were going for, like, we can dance.
What is humor anyway? All right, so our lines.
It's when you do the safety dance.
Yes, it's the only funny thing. But incidentally, the entire final session will be just the safety dance.
Oh, 100%.
If we get to 100%, it will be the safety dance. That's a rules joke, y'all. Yeah. Okay, anyway.
That's actually funny.
So the lines. We have lines and veils, but we don't have any veils. Everything is lines right now. Lines are things that are not part of our story and not part of our world. Our lines are sexual assault, not going to happen. Time loss for psychological reasons, not going to happen. Relationship gaslighting, we're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. And animals getting hurt. Animals are protected by the invisible clergy and me. Don't mess with animals. Anyway, I don't know why I made a joke there. I probably shouldn't joke during the safety tools. Maybe. I don't know, man. I joked once in a pronoun channel, and that was a mistake. Anyway, that's not here nor there. I'm gonna dial it back and continue with the safety tools. We have also something that I believe is the script change method. I don't remember what it is, but I just remember that it exists, and that's what we use.
Oh, the VCR things.
Yes. So the way it works is if something is confusing or difficult, or you need a moment, or you just want to talk to everybody outside of the game, things are getting heated, whatever, there's a lot of different things that could trigger this. The most important of all the tools is pause, which you can send to me using chat. You can say it out loud with like voices. That's a thing if you have one. You can. I don't really look at the cameras, so I probably wouldn't rely on the video for that, honestly. Like, just because I'm not looking at the cameras. But like, if you can get someone else's attention and they can also say it to me, and that's valid. You're valid. So pause is the big one. We can pause, we can fix things, we can change things. The thing that I like to do is to state intentions with pause. Like, I really need this scene to end this way, or I need this character to not die, is a big one. I've been reading Kill 6 Billion Demons thanks to a couple of people in this game. Thank you very much. I lost all my free time.
There's an
And-
RPG,
You're
just
welcome.
saying. There's
And
a
if-
Powered by the Apocalypse game.
If you read the comments on the arc that I was reading, everyone in the comments is like, if the cat dies, I'm done with this comic. I need the cat to survive. And we can do that. We can just pause and be like, I just need the cat to survive, everybody. It's cool. And that's fine. We have the power to decide all of that stuff out of game, because we, all 5 of us, are like gods above the invisible clergy, even as we manipulate this universe. That's more power than I wanted.
Okay, endless
I mean,
pizza.
we can just siphon off that extra power.
Does it work? Can we? Anyway, moving on. But we've got a couple others that are a little more, useful. We got fast forward. Fast forward is like if a scene is troubling, but you don't want to cancel it. This is like, I don't mind the violence, but I want to skip past describing it. Or let's fade to black. I don't want to detail this sex scene, is usually where those primarily come up. And again, that's a fine one. We've got rewind, which is like, we did a thing, but the player messed up or didn't understand the context, or the GM messed up, or something is troubling, or there's a whole bunch of ways to do this. And because again, as we are gods above the invisible clergy, we control time in a way they do not. So we can go back and change events. This is a power beyond the rules. I'm getting a little giddy. It's an important one. We've used it before. And finally, we have stop, which is kind of like pause, but like big. It's like the big pause. It's the hammer. It's things are really going wrong right now. I need a really, really big. I'm not really good at explaining this one, but if pause is like, let's work this out. Stop is like, I might not be able to come back to the table today. I'm really upset. And that's all valid. Don't feel bad about doing that. It's all cool. None of those, you don't even have to explain them if you don't want to. Everybody clear on the safety tools?
Got it.
All right. I didn't hear Elizabeth, I think.
I'm good.
All right. And I think I heard Mara, but I want to confirm that.
We're good.
All right, cool. So everyone should have characters. Everyone should have things. Does anyone have anything they need to businessy type stuff before we get into the start of the session?
Nope.
All righty. Then we had a pitch last night for a scene that I really liked to start us off. The idea was that Mara, having had a bit of a couple of days, I'm not saying her days have been, I guess they have been worse than everyone else's, just because she possibly found out who killed her parents, and it's not good.
Made them disappear. Fair.
Oh.
Silent.
That's fair. That's fair. So, so Mara was sitting around the pizza shop and really upset. And I believe this was all off camera. Pebbles, who you may recall, which is our adorable demon cat.
Sentient cat friend. Well,
Uh,
I guess all
ba-
cats are.
Cat friend.
Basically volunteered to mediate a team meeting. Oh gosh, this cat is a little bit. Well, it's a cat, first of all. I
And
just
likes
really,
blood.
yeah. So
No wonder it likes Mara. Anyway,
good luck. So the idea behind the team meeting was basically we've been kind of scattered and under a lot of pressure, what with the whole demon possessed child and confrontation with Jaquette that probably ended pretty well, but it was tense. It was some tough stuff. And maybe a couple of secret rituals were performed by a certain trash witch. And maybe someone has some secret information that they might want to share about stuff. So just thought it would be good to gather everybody and get our cards on the table was the idea of this scene. For the purposes of the scene, I think it might be good if we talk out of character real quick as we set it up. Does that sound okay to everybody?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just like if you have anything you want to make sure to happen or that would be important to you for the scene would be a good thing to mention. I'm going to start with Alexis because you're at the bottom and I want to raise you to the top.
Thank you.
In my the little cameras in Zoom. I think logic thoughts.
So it doesn't have to be on screen, but I think in the couple of days that have passed, she would have probably talked to Shay, since last session it was indicated that she was also in on the whole old cabal.
Yes.
Triple H.
She was one of the Hierophant Harbinger
Hatchery.
hatchery. Was it that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Trust me, I have lived in this information for like 2 weeks.
That's not healthy. That's not healthy, theater nerd.
Well, you don't code a website overnight, even if my character can.
Yeah, I did that at the beginning of the campaign. Wait a sec. Not a website, but anyway. All right. Sorry. Carry on, Alexis.
That was it.
So you just kind of want to talk about that and have that be kind of brought up?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. How about theater nerd? Do you have anything you want in this scene?
Just don't want any more secrets. I'm done
That's
with
fair.
bullshit.
So you want preferably everyone to kind of have all of their information out at the table instead of being secretive info.
Correct.
Cool. Seems
If
valid
we can
to me.
want to move forward towards a common goal beyond our pizza shop, we need to all be on the same page.
I think that the surviving members of the Hierophant Harbinger hatchery would agree with you if they had all of their memories. Because
Oh, Cliff.
he's not the only one.
Well,
Remember
yeah,
Quinn?
and Quinn,
Oh yeah.
who I was thoroughly convinced was trying to extort us.
You know, I think that I'm going to be honest. Quinn changed a lot between session 1 and session 2. Quinn was originally one character who split into 2 characters, the more benign Quinn and the less benign Ronnie Strafe, who you met on a roadside bench. They were originally one character. It happens. Hey, sorry. You aren't crazy for thinking that he was trying to extort you, because that's how I was playing him in the first session. But I had to kind of retcon that because that was, I don't know. Thanks for
Things
playing
change.
along. Persephone, what about you?
I don't know if there's anything that needs to happen other than just like there has been tension and that needs to be resolved one way or another.
Okay. I think for me, you know what? I'm gonna do me last because I don't know why. I had a reason. Thoughts. Anyway, moving on. And Connie.
Hey, so Adora is going to want to tell their friends about the new powers that they got from their fancy book. They want everybody to stop fighting because, come on, y'all. We have this awesome pizza place. We make tacos. We have beautiful cats. Why can't we all just get along? And
why can't we be friends?
exactly. It's time for a kumbaya, y'all.
I
So
think there are specific reasons why that need to be addressed, but
Right.
here's what I'm trying to parse out there. There's a difference between my character wants us to be friends, but it might not happen. And I, as a player, think I need to come out of this scene with us more being friends than we were before the scene. And that's something I need to differentiate. I think you're saying both, but I'm not sure.
I am saying both. I'm okay with there being disagreements with us, but I want us all to come together and be like, we are working towards this goal and we're a group, which we had at the beginning and then has fallen apart since then. And I feel like everybody kind of wants that.
Okay. This is the thing about the pause and what I need from the scene thing. It's valid, and that's what we're going to do. That's the way it works. And I think that makes sense because that would make me. Now, to be fair, this doesn't remove your autonomy of character. The big thing here is trying to balance that need with your character's personality. And I know some of our characters are very, very strong, assertive people. So what I would ask of you, the other people, is basically try to figure out, not necessarily why your character is happy, because it sounds like, Connie, you'll be cool if the characters aren't happy, and you'll be cool if they disagree. You just want us all to be like, remember that we're friends.
Yes.
So I guess the big thing is, can we all buy into that? Is that something we can all do, or is that going to be a problem for anyone?
Shouldn't be.
should not be, no.
Okay. And the thing is that I know that with some of the stuff that might come up in this scene specifically, that could be hard for our characters. So I'm going to be making a little extra liberal use of the pause mechanic here to resolve some of the in-character stuff. If that happens, honestly, I don't know what's going to happen. For me, I think my biggest thing is knowing that the Cabal has not necessarily a direction, because it's fine to be rudderless, but knowing if they're rudderless together or drifting apart. Because we have 7 sessions. This is our 7th to finale session. And while that's not like a ticking clock for us to fight God, we can if we want to, but
I think Minerva would prefer not to fight God. I think that would be a definite thing that would split Minerva from the party.
in this case, I meant the invisible clergy, but
Oh, in that case, fighting the invisible clergy is a separate thing from fighting God for Minerva.
but I can guarantee with the amount of time we have left, it'll be a total party kill. Like, if we decide to fight the invisible clergy in that episode, it'll go bad for us. Like, they huck asteroids at people. So
It's okay. It'll be fine. Minerva has plans and more plans.
So I have an idea with Pebble giving a slightly psychotic but ultimately heartwarming, hopefully, speech.
Okay.
All right.
How does that work for y'all? Unless someone else wants to start this off.
I always enjoy Pebble.
All right. So it's been
I'm just gonna let you know, Mara literally probably has not slept in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Aw.
Mara, How old is Mara?
Like 20 something. She's still in college, so she's probably like
She'll be
21.
fine.
Oh,
Yeah, you're resilient.
You probably
Yeah.
actually see her walk into whatever room we're in where Pebbles has gathered us all with like a 5-hour energy, a Red Bull, probably a Bang energy drink.
Oh wow. All
Like-
of the energy drinks.
Yes.
Do you have a monster?
I think that's probably in the fridge in the for later, for when they
All
start
right.
to come down.
Are you missing something important because of your lack of sleep? Like, what have you forgotten or haven't done, like, visually? What's kind of
I think she probably went into the office this morning. Maybe to slightly work on the website she's literally been working on
yeah.
since yesterday afternoon. Slightly to do like actual marketing work and bookkeeping and whatever. But I think she just temporarily crashed on the keyboard. So I think there's like actual like key marks on her face.
I like that. I like that. All right. And then we have Adora. What do you look like? I think it's been a day or two since the ritual. So how are you doing right
Adora's
now?
doing good. Adora has their fro split into 5 different like mohawk type sections, and the shaved part of their head is crisp and clean again. They are sitting on a table petting Pebbles and have a box of pizza open next to them because they know that there's magic in the pizza and they want everybody to get along and have a fun time. Their clothing is immaculate destruction, just like all black, monochrome with tears and rips in all the right places and shiny silver pins that are either depicting trash, possums, or very queer shit.
Okay. Now, what piece of trash or other thing showcases the fact that you now have a very low but very existing membership or trait of I am a sleeper?
They found a one of those toy robots in the trash, and they managed to scavenge some old D batteries to power it, and they're driving it around, but while it still makes lights and moves around very jerkily, none of the sound effects work, and the body parts as they move should be like clicking and stuff because of how broken it is, but they move silently.
Interesting. I have no idea why that works, but it totally does. Minerva,
Invisible clergy.
you've had
I've had a little bit of a time.
yeah.
Yeah.
How are you doing? How is Minerva?
Not great. She definitely cried to her plants a lot. I think Minerva's just like spent a lot of time alone.
Yeah, it's probably really because that was a huge chunk of energy that just
Yeah, that was just to recap 20 plus minor charges and 2 significant charges.
now after the scene with the Weaver in the attic, which I
Yes.
think is a great name for it.
Yeah, Weaver parentheses in the attic end parentheses.
It's very HP Lovecraft, but also it's
Sounds like a Bloodborne boss.
it's a guy named Weaver.
Yeah.
There's just like this weird, like mundane aspect. After that situation, you had a heart-to-heart with Clifford Weaver, and
Yeah.
it's been a couple weeks, so I don't want to necessarily pick that scene up immediately, if that's all right.
Hmm.
But I kind of want to think, how did that go between you two? What happened there? You get to decide, and as I'll let you know if something's out of character for him, but I think you know him, and it's cool.
I think. Well, clearly I didn't know him all that well based on what happened, but so I told him about my idea that the old cabal was doing it all wrong and the way that they could do it better. And I think he just did it took a while just thinking about it. And he was probably ended up saying something along the lines of like, Minerva, I've been out of the game for a hell of a long time now, and this is a hell of a long shot. But good luck if you can do it.
I like that. I like that a lot. I think he's supportive, and even though he's been only doing minor charge magic for a long time after the completion of the Weaver, I think he likes your idea if it works.
Yeah.
And he wants to support you, and I think he believes in you, but he also doesn't really know what to believe anymore and has missing memories. How are you looking right now? Are you?
I think Minerva, I think generally it tends to be a little bit more high femme. I think definitely today she's just a little more futch and frazzled still.
Is that how we know? Is that kind of the manifestation also of kind of this loss that you're feeling?
Yeah, and also I think Minerva's anxieties and fears that like things might go badly for me. And I don't want to ruin my nice dress.
That makes sense.
Also, with Minerva in like a backpack or something is probably about a gallon of her healing water, because I would imagine she still had that in her fridge.
Okay, so she had some of the healing water because here's an interesting question. Do you have a minor charge right now? You woke up, did you do your morning ritual?
I believe we said I had one minor charge because of the prayer shawl that Weaver in the attic made for me.
So you have one minor charge right now.
One.
Okay. This morning, did you wake up and make yourself a smoothie with blood?
Yeah.
So you have two.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's still, and the blood supply, I mean, probably is going to get resolved, but hasn't officially been resolved with the cat stuff. So you're probably on edge.
Yeah.
And then finally we have Elizabeth. Elizabeth, how are you doing?
Low-key anxious, I think.
What's got you anxious, Elizabeth?
Well, first off, the Weaver thing. Second off, my house ghost is more involved than I expected. And lastly, my friends do not seem to be in the best shape.
Have you had a talk with Shay since you met the Weaver in the attic, or have you kind of been avoiding that subject?
She would have confronted her, yeah.
We might flash back to it, but how did that go when you confronted her last night? You get to decide. I'm letting you decide if Shay was receptive or not receptive. I mean, you can bounce it back to me if you want, but I'm letting you pick if you want that to be a specific thing.
Well, the thing is, I don't know how much she remembers as a ghost. Does she remember what she was doing in her life?
Yes. It's not perfect, but she remembers bits. She remembers she was part of something big. She remembers that they did stuff. I think if she hears a name, she recalls her relationship with that person. but a lot of it's faded for her.
Okay, in that case, I think she would tell me what she remembers. But the question is, does she still think it was a good idea?
I like the idea that you've informed her how it went since she died, because she was the first one to die.
Mhm.
In the 15 years since, you tell her how it's played out, and now she's kind of trying to think about it. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that works.
That gives us a scene to play out later, as well. How are you feeling towards Shay right now?
I am. I think she's understanding because she admitted that some of her memory is not good or completely lost. So I understand it's not something she would bring up, but I think there's like a little bit of resentment that she hasn't brought it up at all, despite all the stuff going on.
All right. The thing I'm curious about is that probably, to me, that represents sort of a disruption in the home. How does that affect you and your appearance? How does that show up? What did you forget to do because there's a little bit of tension in the house, where before it was like, it's my friendly ghost?
Maybe I left the dirty dishes dirty a couple hours longer.
Okay, cool. Let's get started. So you're all in the room, and Pebbles assumes a place in the center, sits up like a cat, like a carved cat idol, and says, as you know, you all summoned me for an auspicious endeavor, creating the perfect house where I will be forever petted and fed and pleased. And lately it has come to my attention that there is some conflict among you, my followers.
Whoa.
Sorry, my servants.
I'm not sure I like that any better,
Just
Pebbles.
let the cat continue.
My humans.
Okay, that's the most accurate thing you've said.
Anyway, as your... She pauses, clearly about to say God King. Cat, it is my duty to help you all. So first, she bends over and starts licking herself. This goes on for maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4.
Pebbles is the best.
5 minutes. Then she stops, cleans off her paws, and says, okay, are we all feeling better?
I
A little
am.
better, right?
Who wants
Anyway.
pizza?
So I'm thinking what we need is to clear the air, because the only one entitled to have secrets is me, as your cat. That might be a thing. I kind of like that. Anyway, so she looks around at all of you. Who wants to pet me, and who wants to go first?
I want to pet you.
All right. She curls up exactly where she is.
Does that mean I go first too?
If no one else volunteers, probably.
Okay, so this is what I mean, y'all. And Adora's totally petting Pebbles, having a great time. We used to talk all the time about everything we did. And now we're all just like, why are we here together? Why are we not talking to each other? I don't want to start. And that's not good. So we need to clear the air and actually be able to have conversations with each other. Otherwise, we'll never get anything accomplished. And that would be super lame and sad. And I don't want that. So I'm going to start out. This is not a secret because I just haven't had time to talk to you all yet because we've been avoiding each other. But I found this really cool book when I was at Dumpster Books the other day. And it's written by this really weird guy named Dirk A. And I did this ritual, and I think I can infiltrate the sleepers now and get us some information about how to muck up with all the stuff that they're trying to do, because they're kind of crappy. Isn't that great?
Pebbles is purring.
Why didn't you come to us before you did another ritual from a book?
Pebbles shoots you a glance, Mara. And what's the cat version of shushing someone?
I feel like this is a valid question, so you don't get to shush me, cat.
What's the cat version of going, you're here, you should be here?
Probably a hiss.
Which is clearly, you're here, you should be here.
Okay, Mara, I understand why you might be a little upset that I did that. I didn't think that this was a thing that I needed to talk to you all about. And I'm sorry if that made you upset, because I have done things without asking before. And yes, it has caused trouble. And I can agree to come to you all in the future about stuff, but we have to actually be talking for that to happen, okay? So I am sorry I did that without consulting you all.
I'm just afraid that this now turns you against things that we might want in the future. Because the sleepers' job are to remove rabble rousers for the invisible clergy.
Right. And that's why I wanted to have a way in so that we could avoid them by knowing their plans.
I think, you're an adult, Adora. Certainly the youngest of the group, but you're still an adult and you are a certainly capable individual. Just, try to be as safe as possible, I guess.
Thank you. I will.
Adora, out of game, you do have understanding of the ritual in that you know that it's doesn't come with any requirements, though it does mark you as a sleeper and you can see them and they can see you. And doing the ritual will increase its power and also your visibility. But right now you're barely visible as a blip.
Okay.
And
I should probably mention that to people then.
But also the idea of this ritual doesn't control your behavior. It just basically gives you the ability to do this thing if you want to align yourself with their goals in some situations. Like you could have used it to help stop Stray, but you can't use it to help Mara blog about magic.
Right.
But it doesn't require you to do any of those, and that's something you understood about the ritual before you did it, probably because you know your stuff. If you want to share that, that's a thing you could share. Yeah. And also, if you want to say what he said or what she said or what they said, be my guest.
That is exactly what I want to do. So I conveyed all that information to all y'all.
I had to ask Adora, are you making sure that you're also safe from them?
Well,
since you said they might be able to see you, right?
Right. But what they'll see is that I am one of them, so they won't want to take action against me unless they see me breaking their rules. But because I can see them, I'll know not to break the rules in front of them. Does that make sense?
I mean, if you know how it works, just be safe, okay?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I did my thing. So let's have somebody else do something.
You
Mm,
can pet me if you want to while you're talking, says Pebbles.
I definitely want to pet you, Pebbles.
Pebbles
Pet
walks
me
over
if
to
you want
Elizabeth.
to.
Oh God, more safety dance. No.
Sorry, my head went right there.
I gotta be honest. My first thought, Elizabeth, when you started talking to Adora, was like, Adora, I know you're casting rituals, but are you using protection?
Right?
Please.
Which is again safety dance to me. That those are connected somehow. I don't
mean,
know.
my personal motto is always use protection. So
That's why you carry firearms. You're Mara. You've got. No, that's why you carry the knife. Pebbles walks up to you, Elizabeth, and
can I say one thing to Adora before we move on?
okay, let me finish
Go ahead.
narrating Pebbles, and then and you
Okay.
talk after I describe it. Basically, kind of curls up in a way that is like 2 feet in front of you. So if you want to pet it, you have to get up and walk forward. Because
What a dick.
what a cat.
I mean, that's fair.
All right, so Mara, what did you want to say to Adora?
I think she looks Adora in the eyes. I don't know if I've made this obvious to you or not, but I really like you, and I would hate for this magic to be your demise. That is why I'm frustrated.
I
Especially
like you too. I don't want magic to hurt us either. So I'm like you. I want to protect the things that I care about. And this is one of the ways that I've decided to do it. So if I have a problem and I need your help, I'll let you know. Okay?
Okay. Sorry, Elizabeth, you can go on. And
Pebbles licks herself in appreciation of your interaction.
you probably have like never seen Amara, because that's apparently Adora and Mara's ship.
We have shipping names now.
I mean, I couldn't have a ship name with my actual relationship because how do you do Zara and Mara? Like, it doesn't work.
Zara.
Zamara?
Zamara. That's another character. No, wait. That's too much.
But anyway, she's like super blushing, and you all know that she's not the type to like blush at anything.
But says the viewer, did they mean like or like? Because this could be purely platonic. They're just very good friends.
Oh yes, very good friends. Just
It's
gals.
quite obvious
gals.
it isn't.
All right. So anyway, Elizabeth, do you get up and move forward to pet the cat?
I pick up the cat and put Pebbles in my arms and pet. So my thing isn't really a big thing, but we did learn that Shay, the ghost that lives with me, she was part of the old cabal, and I confronted her. She has a holy memory, doesn't exactly recollect everything they did. So not too much information on that front, but just wanted to let you know, and I'm not even sure myself what to think of it. You'd think she would have told me, but she decided to not.
Like, being a ghost is probably traumatic enough to not like dredge up past your stuff that happened in your life. I don't know. I'm not a ghost.
Well, I'm not either, but she certainly likes to talk about the things she liked doing while she was alive. And so I'm a bit surprised that she kept that out. considering that at least from her perspective, she thought everything was fine. And once I explained to her that everything is not fine, she did look shocked and surprised. And I don't think she's going to be a threat or anything since she is just a ghost.
I'm not so convinced about that necessarily.
No?
No. I feel like something as benign as a plant could be a threat.
Oh, that's not targeted at all.
Let's pause real
wasn't.
quick. Let's pause real quick. Theater nerd, I want to check in with you. Was that a reference to Minerva's plants, or was that
No.
just kind of the idea of a plant is generally a harmless thing and Mara is really paranoid?
I think it has more to do with her own paranoia, and it literally was not an attack.
Okay.
Oh, no. I'm saying Minerva would have interpreted it that way. I, Persephone, am trying to separate the two.
All right.
I mean, we could go with something like a fly or something else.
Ooh. That's a good idea. We could rewind it and have Mara do a different word, and that way Minerva doesn't feel attacked. Does that work for everyone?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes.
Cool. All right. Unpause if we're all good. Mara, redo your line.
I mean, I feel like given the right set of magic and somebody who wanted to do something, even a fly could be harmful.
And all four of you know, it's not wrong.
Okay, Mara, I'm not disagreeing, but I'm afraid you're becoming paranoid that everyone's out to get us.
There is this big, powerful entity that we know basically nothing about other than they exist, and our powers, including mine, come from these people. And that there was a whole nother cabal that brought down a UFO. Don't you think I have every right to be paranoid about this? I'd like to make it to my 50s or 60s. I know my behavior makes it unlikely, but I'd like to, believe it or not.
I mean, it is a shock probably to all of us that they exist, but are we even on their radar? Do they care about us right now?
Out of game? No. In fact, this whole experiment, probably they might be aware of to some degree, but more in those people down there are trying something interesting. They probably got a little bit of help in the actual summoning portion, but in general, they only concern themselves with avatars 90% and higher on their ratings. And specifically, they kind of guide the world in this kind of causality invisible way, hence the name. And then also try to kill the Godwalker, which is the highest rated avatar on the planet. Unless they want to be replaced, which is a thing that happens sometimes. But generally they don't.
Okay, but in character we don't know most of this, right?
Actually, that's up to you, but it's fairly common knowledge for people who are clued in about the occult underground.
I feel like Mara's paranoia is from the fact that she doesn't really know this. Yeah. Even though her life was kind of thrust into this, probably because her grandma, for the most part, didn't want her exposed to it.
Yeah. You could probably find out a lot.
Establish earlier that at least Elizabeth and Adora have not studied as deeply to
because like if you remember, my mentor did kind of clue me into like some stuff that is
Okay.
more basic information than this right now.
All right, so probably this stuff, the level of what they notice is a thing you maybe don't know. Minerva, since you, if I recall, don't believe in the authority of the invisible clergy, you probably have access to a lot of this information, especially since you've been out in the greater world a lot.
I've just like logicked it, you know, transformed it in my head a little bit
Yeah.
to fit my adeptness.
You know, it's almost like you're an adept. And incidentally,
Really?
a lot of this information is the kind of stuff, if you were to hang out and gossip at No Ponies for a while, you would pick up all of this information. It's not super secret. If you were to hang out at,
what was the fancy bar's name?
God, the credit card.
Oh yeah.
Ton of info at credit card, but you guys haven't been to credit card yet. I don't know if you want to go.
Wait, I thought I was there with like Atropos for brief.
You know
Yes,
what?
you were.
Oh yeah, you were. Okay.
Yeah.
I just forget because honestly, the one that's most interesting to me is No Ponies.
Atropos bought me lunch, and then everything happened, and Minerva wasn't there because Persephone was sick.
I have a joke in one of my other games where it's the equivalent of the invisible clergy is messing with our schedules to prevent us from playing.
IRL invisible clergy. Now theater nerds getting paranoid. Anyway.
So that's probably the information. So in terms of the concern about the level, Elizabeth, the person in the group who probably knows best that we're not on the radar because we're so tiny, and that the Triple H probably was a minor blip on their radar, is Minerva.
Yeah, and that's why Elizabeth, out of her knowledge, says she thinks that we are probably not a concern to them.
Okay, fair enough. So I think it was like that was to allay Mara's concern / paranoia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Mara, did you have a response to that? I can't remember where we were.
No. I
Okay.
still think she's gonna be hella paranoid because she has plans and schemes and has been doing things that the rest of the group doesn't know about yet. So because I didn't just code a website for no reason, IRL. Just saying.
So I think if I'm understanding, that's all of Elizabeth's stuff. So maybe at this, Pebbles jumps out of Elizabeth's hands to the ground and looks expectantly at Minerva and Mara.
Oz, Elizabeth, was that all you wanted to say?
Oh, good question.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
You know, I'm not a fan of you.
You know, someone else can pet me while you spill your... She's about to say guts. She was about to say baby birds.
You were gonna say beans, Pebbles, and I shall pick Pebbles up.
Okay. Go for it, Mara, if you want.
Well, first off, I'm sick of bullshit.
What do you mean by bullshit? Says Pebbles.
She was getting there.
Okay.
We can no longer keep secrets from ourselves. And I get, Minerva, that you're pissed off at me, but you're mad at me because I didn't have a clue about what was going on. Because there was no discussion about your magic and the things that potentially cause your magic harm.
Pebbles starts hissing, which is the same hiss that is, you're here. You should be here.
Is that at Mara or at Minerva?
At Mara.
I am upset about a lot of things. You are only one of them.
Right. But I think the fact that you're upset with me for not understanding, because we've never had a conversation, considering I think you're the only one deep enough into magic to actually have any idea and could communicate any of this to any of us. I don't do magic. I am the least magic person in this group.
I'm going to pause right here. Actually, I'm sorry, Minerva. I'm unclear on something. Fact-wise, Mara, what are you saying Minerva hasn't communicated?
So out of character, and this is where it gets hazy, I know of taboos because technically avatars have taboos as well
Right.
as all of the adepts do. So what she's trying to say is you did not communicate with me about your school of magic, which I know it could have caused you harm, but there were still ways to have communicated even an ounce beyond magic exists, because we did have that conversation.
Okay, I do want...
Maybe I'm not articulating what I'm trying to say very well.
What I'm hearing you say is that Minerva never said, if you talk about death that way, I will lose all of my magic.
Basically.
Okay.
But I'm trying to do it in a non-metagame way because Theater Nerd as a player knows far more about the game world than Mara as a character.
One thing I want to mention, and this is understandable, but because this was, I think, in first session, but I remember us establishing that all of you knew about the taboo and that Minerva had asked everyone not to talk about it. And then there were a couple discussions periodically over the first couple sessions.
I might have forgotten it at this point.
Which is, to be fair, understandable. You're in a ton of games. So here's my question.
I'm about to start another one, but
do you want... Here's my proposal. First of all, let's act as if that happened, because I'm pretty sure it happened. Is that okay with you?
I think that happened.
I mean, at this point, I feel like the first session was like 8 years ago.
It was. It was actually, I was 15 at the time when we played the first session. Y'all.
Shit.
Oh, I'm older than you. Huh.
Reagan was president.
Ooh, how are any of us alive?
I don't. Anyway, moving on.
Was a baby.
So the thing I like to do is, like, if we can't remember the facts, it's like, how about this fact be the one we just kind of agree on and go forward? Because you know that argument where we argue about facts. I don't like that one. Facts are a lie.
That's fine. That was maybe, but I feel like even if that discussion happened, it happened like once. I guess I don't have
Here's my thing I'm wondering about Theater Nerd.
Mm-hmm.
If the discussion happened a couple times, because I remember it coming up and being like, wait, don't talk about death, like periodically, because death came up. Do you want Mara to be contrite about forgetting that, or upset that she didn't understand it, or both, or something else?
So here's where it gets tough to answer that question.
Okay.
Because I was operating in this conversation and in our discussion last night under the impression that this discussion didn't happen, period.
Okay.
Which may have been my fault, but I am in several games and life stuff has happened since the start of the game. And I don't know that I can answer that question.
All right.
Can I suggest something real quick?
Yeah, let's go to see what Elizabeth had to say real quick while we're trying to parse this out.
It doesn't really matter how you play it out. I think a more better question would be to you two right now. Do you want to play this conflict out that your character forgot about this fact or didn't know about this fact? Is that interesting in play or not?
That's a good question.
If it's not interesting, we can just say it didn't happen and move on,
Well,
That is actually a thing we can do.
I think it's interesting to play out. I think just going off of because if we say that didn't happen, we would also have to retcon Minerva losing the charges in the first place.
which was an option we had talked about last night.
Yeah, I feel like it's more narratively interesting to just move forward with the story as is. However, for the sake of the group, I'm fine with whatever way.
Okay.
I mean, I'm okay with well, so the other part of her I'm sick of bullshit is I'm sick of not being told. Well, okay, so not being told shit. I found out all this stuff about my family, and I know who killed my parents or made them disappear, and I have thoughts and feelings about this. That was also kind of the bullshit angle that I was
Okay.
going to get
that
to,
case-
but that was the after.
I would just suggest that we hand wave Mara being under stress, because stress and depression and such things can mess with memory quite a lot, and just hand wave it that way in narrative.
Trying to like literally we've maybe found this information out 12 hours ago, 24 hours ago.
Yeah.
I think she needs time to process it, from the standpoint of her memory, like what she did remember has now completely been changed.
Here's what I've got. Here's what I'm getting. There's basically two different issues for Mara. There's the Mara's relationship to magic and magic as a whole, and how that relates to her parents and the world and who she is and everything.
Yes.
And there's also Mara's relationship with Minerva.
Yes.
And I feel like what's happening right now is a lot of the anger Mara is feeling about the first one, which is justified, gets, and I don't think that necessarily this is intentional, gets expressed in the Minerva relationship. So here's my idea. What if, for the purpose of this scene, Mara starts, because it seems like you wanted to start by addressing the Minerva relationship.
Yes.
What if for that, instead of the talking about the memory stuff, what if we keep it really simple? Mara now understands taboos and what they are, and says something really simple like, "I'm sorry I broke your taboo." And then we just kind of move on from there, and that be how we address that. How would that work for you, Theater Nerd? And then you get to talk about the world stuff in general.
I guess that's okay.
Persephone-
I honestly don't think. Oh, okay, that's fine.
Now, are you good with that, Theater Nerd? Because if you're not, it's okay not to.
Well, I don't think she's sorry. Like, she wants to be 100% transparent about what happened.
Okay.
And maybe there was a lack of understanding on her part about Minerva's taboo, but death is a thing that happens as far as Mara is concerned.
Okay.
And that's where I'm going to struggle being like, yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, I could give an insincere apology, which I don't want to do either.
No, that makes sense.
Can I get some input?
Yes.
Sure.
For a second? I think I know where I would want to like respond to this going in, so we could just I think we could just go back as planned, or just how things were, and just maybe have the finger on the pause button, if necessary, just see how things play out.
Does that work for everyone? Like, so just kind of unpause, but if things start to get heated, pause again. Is that
Or there's confusion.
Sure.
is that what we want to do?
Yes. I'm
Yeah.
okay with that.
Can I excuse me, sorry. Can we have, if that's happening, a way to signal when the person who's talking is done talking so that we don't get crosstalk?
Oh, that's a
'Cause
good.
I feel like
Good idea,
this
yes.
is a really important conversation where you both need to have what you're saying said before it's responded to.
I think I agree with that.
Glad one of us is smart.
If Theodore Nerd and Persephone have an idea for what would work for you both, that
I mean,
would.
I keep an eye on chat or on the cameras so it doesn't
Yeah.
make much of a difference.
I feel like we want to be explicit here. It might be good if in this specific scene, and again, these are like, this is a specific thing, maybe it just like at the end of your character emoting, just be like, and that's all she has to say, or she's done.
I'm done.
Yeah, is that cool? Can we do
Yes,
that? I know that
that's fine.
that might feel a little training wheelsy, but I think it might help us in the long run if that's okay with everyone.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think Minerva and Mara need to have it out.
Okay.
This is our opportunity to have it out.
I just really want to make sure that we're like, I'm not opposed to you having it out. I just want to make sure it's,
I mean, right.
the I want to avoid the bleed issue and stuff like that. Persephone, you were saying something and I couldn't hear you. Was it basically?
I'm sorry. Is this better?
No. It was
I talked over you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was saying, yeah, just saying like, I'm done is good.
okay.
But just also, there is a difference between, saying out of out of character, I am done, versus like being in character, I am so done with this, like as an expression of like
Oh yeah.
desperation.
You could use the
I
word
was thinking
Roger.
like,
let me hear what Alexis is saying. I couldn't make that out. What was that, Alexis?
Sorry, I was saying you could use the word Roger since that won't come up in regular conversation.
over and out.
Yeah.
All right, let's go with walkie-talkie things for now. How does that sound to everybody?
Sure.
Works for me.
Oh God, have you seen that meme? The one that's been going around. That was like, "Come over." It's the walkie-talkie thing. No, okay, never mind. I'm
Come
just.
over.
I know what you were going for, but I haven't seen that meme.
Anyway, so I like the idea of conversational initiative turns. Everyone roll for
Talking.
All right. So Mara, take a full action to speak, and then
I got a 19 on my initiative roll. I don't know. I feel like Minerva has like at least a 16 dex.
I feel like Mara's more charismatic and or strong as opposed to dexterous. Anyway.
Aside from how funny that is, Mara was the person who was talking. So let's have them get their thing out.
Definitely.
I don't know how I would retcon what I said, but I think if you have something to say in response to her, you might as well just say it in response to her.
You can retcon what you said, or you can just like summarize, or you can just say, I said what I said, let's see how it goes. And
Mara is convinced that this is the truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I said. So
yeah. Mara, you are stubborn as both a good thing and a bad thing, and you don't listen. It took so long to just explain magic as a thing to you. Would you have like really listened and understood the nuances of this weird bullshit I made up that works.
Well, at least you admit that it's bullshit.
I mean, lots of things are bullshit. But this is good bullshit, and this is bullshit that's important to me.
Can I ask an out of character question real quick? We're assuming that this is the next morning, correct? Like,
I
we've
thought
had
this was
it-
like a couple days later.
It could be a couple days
Yeah.
later. Does anyone have a preference? I like both. I feel like a couple days later might be good because then we'd have a more stable everybody. Let's
I
go.
think at least one day, yeah.
Okay. Because that changes words and things.
Okay.
Because believe it or not, she's not actually an asshole. Just sometimes seems like Mara is an asshole.
Minerva has opinions about that.
All right. Where are we in the conversation? I got confused.
I think Mara potentially still had more to say. Minerva has not officially taken her turn yet, although she has responded to what Mara just said.
And what was the last turn taken in this conversation?
Do you think you would have listened to a further conversation?
That's a good question. So, Mara, I think we're on your turn. Your response?
I feel like we're back in debate. Sorry.
We kind of are, but we can do this better than the Democratic National Debates did.
Oh.
Shots fired. Anyway, sorry, I completely distracted myself. I'm pretty good at that. I'm a professional.
ADHD wins.
And I took my medicine this morning. Anyway.
So, Mara, do you think you would have been in a position to listen 2 weeks ago?
Here's the thing that I think you started to find out. My life has been wrapped up since the day I was born in all of this invisible clergy bullshit.
Yeah.
My grandma was in Triple H. My parents were in Triple H. That literally was like my entire family.
Mm-hmm.
This is things that I just accepted as the way the world worked. Not necessarily understanding it, but I don't know if you remember, my grandma was trying to specifically avoid this stuff to try to keep me out of it. Well, it couldn't be like I could go, hey, grandma, can you tell me about magic?
Look, you are right and valid to be upset about, HHH and your parents and all that. But don't fucking take it out on me. Because I'm not responsible for that shit.
So you think my slip out was me taking it out on you?
Pause. Is that an out of character or an in character question?
That was an in character question. Because I feel like that was a valid follow up to.
Okay, I just was confused because I wasn't sure if that was Theodore Nerd or Mara, which is a thing important.
It sounded like it was Mara.
I was confused. So
No.
Fair enough. All right, cool. We're good. Unpause.
Okay. You breaking my I don't think so, but just I feel like you have been lashing out, and especially you've been lashing out at me because I am also stubborn and I don't take bullshit.
Can Adora interject for a second?
I'd like that. I think that would be interesting.
Because
Hey,
you're actually probably seeing Mara bite down on her tongue probably hard enough
Yeah.
to actually make it bleed.
okay, so I know that everyone is dealing with a lot of stuff. We're throwing around words like bullshit. This is not conductive or constructive, we need to get clearer on what we're talking about. Don't try and dumb it down to bullshit. If we could get just all curse words or fillers out of this conversation, what is actually the problem? Minerva, you lost something that was important to you because Mara did something. Mara, you are acting the way you are because you learned a lot of really tough things about your past and your history that you now have to process. It sounds to me like you think Minerva is not recognizing what you're going through. And Minerva, it sounds to me that you feel like Mara is taking out the pain they're feeling from these revelations on you as an easy target. I just wanted to say that. Y'all can go ahead. Thanks.
That is not the only thing.
Why don't we do that? Do we think? All right, let's do this. I love what Adora said.
Mhm,
Minerva, you had an interesting response, and I think it's important.
mhm.
We do have to go to break soon. Do we want to go to break now, or do we want to say something and then go to break in the near future? Where do we think we can resolve this point now, or what are people feeling?
Kind of depends on what Minerva says.
Okay. Do we want to see
Yeah.
what? Do we want to put our money on what Minerva says and see what happens?
Yeah, because we can always take a break after that.
For Stephanie?
No pressure.
Indeed. I feel like, I know we're all supposed to be friends, but obviously, both Mara and I have been wanting to take the group in different directions, and I feel like the way Mara seems to want to do things is dangerous and bad.
So is your comment about the conflicted leadership of the group between you and between Minerva and Mara, and that Mara wants to do things in a dangerous way?
Yes.
By simply asking for knowledge? Because that's
I mean,
literally all.
it's talking about like greater patterns.
Interesting.
Please,
Alexis, what you got?
Elizabeth here. What are these two different paths?
Okay, I feel like this is a good conversation.
Probably should wait until after break.
That's the question: is should we start it now or should we wait till after break?
I think wait till after break. Both, I think to
Let's do a
give
break, yeah.
everybody a chance to think about things, and because that makes better TV.
All right. So when we come back, Minerva is gonna drop a bomb of some kind. So let's go to break. While we are on break, why don't you go check out Roll20? They've got some cool stuff.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. If you get a second during break, you should check out one of our amazing sponsors. We're now proudly sponsored by Roll20, the best virtual tabletop for all your role-playing needs. Over 4 million people use Roll20's virtual tabletop to power their favorite games. And with more modules than you can shake a stick at on their new revamped storefront, you'll definitely find something for your group to enjoy. Sign up today by clicking the link below or heading to roll20.net/start/WTTP. Tabletop Loot is an amazing place to get your dice, dice bags, dice boxes, and more. And now you can get 15% off your purchase at tabletoploot.com by using the code WTTPDICE at checkout. Tabletop Loot. Your party starts here. While you're at it, check out our so awesome merch store, So Nerdware. So Nerdware is the place to find all your Welcome to the Party merch and other amazing stuff too. Head on over to sonerdware.com and use the code WELCOME at checkout to get 10% off your next purchase. So Nerdware. It's what the nerds wear. Devin Rue, the amazing mistress of maps, has kindly supported the channel since the beginning and provides graphics for many of our streams. Head on over to rueinc.com to check out some of the best fantasy cartography on the web. Our Patreon supports the creators and producers of the channel by providing Roll20 subscriptions, cost coverage for video hosting, and more. If you want to support the channel while getting podcasts a week early, gaming articles that are published on Patreon first, a shout out during our break, and more, head on over to patreon.com/welcomepartyrpg and throw us a $1 or $5. And last, but certainly not least, help out the party. Subs and bits not only support the stream, but also every 500 bits or a tier 1 sub gives a player or DM of your choice a reroll or system equivalent, and every 1000 bits or tier 2 sub gives a player or DM of your choice a crit or system equivalent. Thanks again for hanging out with us today. The game will be back in just a few minutes.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Hello. Welcome back to Heartfelt Unknown Girls Society, the only welcome to the party Unknown Armies 3rd edition campaign where we will spend like multiple sessions just having a heart-to-hearts because we care so much. I know I'm being silly, but like that's kind of what this session is. And that's cool. Hi. Let's talk safety tools real quick. Remember, there's fast forward, pause, rewind, and stop. With varying needs, we went over those. But the idea is, if you know what to do, if a scene's causing you a problem, you know what you would do if you were watching it in a movie. That's what you do here. Oh, that's a good explanation. Dang, that's good. Yeah, this would make me stop the movie and not watch anymore today.
Write it down.
I just kind of stumbled into that. Also, we got the lines: no sexual assault, no time lost for psych reasons, no relationship gaslighting, no animals getting hurt. I am here with the very excellent people. We've got Elizabeth, Minerva, Adora, and Mara, and we are going to fast forward the scene we went out on to the next conversational beat. This is not anything. This is us invoking safety tools because it's a hard conversation and there was bleed, and I'm being explicit about that because I personally feel it's important to model safety tools and make them a thing. We had a good discussion off mic. That was us, and now we're back and gonna pick up play because we had a good discussion, because that's how it works when you're using safety tools. So where we are now is the argument part faded to black, and now Mara is going to reveal what she has been up to the past couple days, if I remember correctly. Now, here's my question, Mara. Do you want to pet the cat now?
There's only one pussy I would like to pet. Sorry. I couldn't. You set that up too nicely to not continue. I'm sorry.
All right, for real though, do you want to pet Pebbles right now?
No.
All right, Elizabeth, you still got Pebbles.
I would like Pebbles.
What?
Oh, Minerva would like Pebbles.
I will lend you Pebbles. No.
Lend.
I think Pebbles lends themselves.
That is true.
I feel like it's not lending, it's gracing us with the ability to touch them.
This is true. This is true. As your God King, I mean cat. Man. In our Warhammer 40K game, the Emperor is Pebbles.
Ooh, let's not do that.
Yeah, never mind. Oh yeah, that's got implications that I just fridge horror. Moving on. Mara, you want to do your reveal now?
So what you probably see her do is she pulls out a Surface Book, because I feel like that's the exact computer, like her everyday carry computer. Because she's weird like that. She's got the desktop in the apartment and that. And you see her pull up this website, and then she puts the Surface Book into tablet mode, which looks like it should break it, but not, because it's a Surface Book. And she it says the Mara files, and she's pulled it up to her first journal entry specifically. And out of character, if you want to look at this website, it actually exists because I'm a weirdo. I have Notepad++ open right now, which is what I did all of the coding in. Anyway, themarafiles.com is an actual website. And she's like, well, since you weren't here for the conversation, Adora, you might want to read this. But also this might make me a target because I've just exposed the invisible clergy to like the entire world.
Adora's definitely going to take that and look at that.
And so the summary, I don't think it's live yet on the website.
It is.
Oh, so the summary that I gave you, Adora, all that information should be there, but of course filtered through Mara.
For sure.
And I mean, I keep letting stuff slip because there's a lot of stuff that we just ain't got time for, and I toss it out.
Basically, do you want me to give you a summary? Because it is actually live on the website. But ultimately, it was I didn't realize this was going on. I didn't understand what my parents were in. There was this old cabal that fell apart. But yes, it's on the website. The website's a little janky and my first website at the moment, but I'm working on that.
I love it because it takes me back to GeoCities, and I will never not love that look and that time. That was like the second best internet, possibly the best internet.
At one point, I was in a class and probably could have done this in half the time it took me to do it. But it was like learning how to ride a bike after years and years. Well, like 3 or 4 years of not riding one. It's the best. It was coming back. It came back slowly. But
I went to ride a bike once and I ended up eaten by a shark. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So everybody, Mara has just revealed that she's revealing stuff to the world.
Cool. I was just thinking that people should be more transparent about this stuff. This is awesome.
Wait, that's what the sleepers are supposed to prevent.
I know. I don't like the sleepers. That's why I joined their cult so that I could get dirt on them.
Double agent, Adora spy, trash spy.
Yeah.
Trash witch and trash spy.
Oh my gosh, is this going to end up with Adora being an avatar of the Two-Faced Man or whatever it is? That's a thing, I think.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It needs to be now.
Right?
Wow. Anyone else got any commentary on this? Or
I think Minerva is just too frustrated to speak.
Fair.
Really?
That's fair.
So, Mara, remember when I said that I don't think the invisible clergy is paying attention to us?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this changes everything.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're paying attention now.
Well, to be fair, like the website literally only just went up. Like
soon then, yes.
Like I literally haven't slept in like 36 hours to make it happen.
I'm really curious, Elizabeth.
Hmm?
How does Elizabeth feel about this? Is this terrifying? Is this more curious?
I'll play it out.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay, Mara, I see that this is obviously something that meant to you a lot. You said you want people to be aware of them?
I mean, I'm kind of all for transparency, which is kind of why I go after companies that try to hide the fact that they're horrible to the environment. This is probably just an extension of that.
Companies, yes, they are, but companies are humans. We're talking about eldritch horror, possibly. I don't even know what they are right now. Like, I just have a vague idea.
We're battling Cthulhu?
I was thinking about going there.
Well, I hope not.
I mean, I thought about password protecting it and only sharing it with you guys. But I'm also tempted to walk away from being an avatar. So I don't really have. I mean, I guess I have skin in the game.
No, you obviously care about this. So what do you want? What are you hoping that you'll achieve with this website?
People maybe know that there's more to this town and more. There's stuff going on that, unless you're aware of it, you aren't aware of it. Like Adora said, the transparency thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That we are really just puppets in someone's puppet show.
And so, don't get this the wrong way, but I care about you and want to know, why did you put your own name on the website?
I didn't even think about that.
I didn't, out of character, think about it much at all. Because, like I said, we're puppets in someone else's puppet. She's a hacker, too.
Now, the question is, do you want to rewind that? Or are you like, no, this is perfect?
I mean, to be fair, I'm a little conflicted on this one. Because this was Theater Nerd making a boo-boo. Because she's a hacker. And I feel like she's concerned about her safety. But, like, at the end of the day, they can track IP addresses.
I wonder, this could be arguably one of the most firebrandy things you have ever done, putting your skin out there in the game. And that could be rewind why you did it.
I kind of, yes, I like that. So she's going to go with, so, you know how I'm an avatar? And I'm an avatar of the firebrand. Doesn't this seem like it's on brand?
I see what you did there. I mean, on brand, sure. I'm just, and you can see Elizabeth is like shaken, and like she says, I don't want, we are currently safe from Jaquette herself, but other people might go after you and after all of us.
Okay. I think that's a good time. Is it okay if we switch gears to let Persephone speak now? Or Mara, did you want to respond to that, or just kind of be like, I kind of like the silent end to that. Is that cool?
I feel like that was her mic drop.
Fair. That's actually really good. Elizabeth, you got a mic drop. So
Okay.
Persephone, you had something you were kind of sitting on it. Was that right?
Yeah, I mean, there was Minerva's idea, but also this kind of throws things into shambles for Minerva. Because Mara just fucking painted a target on all of us. I mean, mostly on herself.
Technically.
But on us.
That could be true. Though she could also be tanking.
From Minerva's,
aggro.
From Minerva's perspective, she has put a target on our backs and endangered us, both from forces within the town and without. And so she is very frustrated, and this kind of plays into concerns that Minerva had that, like, we are skipping over for right now.
Okay.
But Minerva, for the sake of going along, is like, you know what, just okay. So we're gonna pretend that this doesn't fuck our chances with trying to make peace with the committee. We're just so the HHH all those years ago wanted to make a better world, right? By influencing the clergy and doing the shit with the UFO and all that stuff. But what if they were going about it the wrong way? What if instead we make a new world without the invisible clergy at all?
What?
I mean, that's going to take a hell of a lot of power, but I feel like that would be a better world.
Wow.
And I even have like an idea of a first step. Kind of. I don't know. It's more of a vague idea.
So I'm not necessarily a fan of the invisible clergy, partially because I got dragged into all of this, like not by being born, basically, like simply by existing did I get dragged into this. I mean, I guess we all did, but like my family is knee deep in invisible. Well, I mean, technically they're dead, but anyway.
Pause. Do you want to rewind that, Mara?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and rewind that. Technically, they're gone?
Yes, we'll go with that.
Cool.
Technically, they're gone, and therefore, I guess they're really not knee deep in it anymore. I don't know exactly how this works. Anyway, I would like to see them gone, but supposedly they're some of the most powerful beings to exist from my very limited understanding. If they have the ability to pull the marionette strings on each and every one of us,
we go around them.
But what makes you think that that's not going to paint a huge target or make them abundantly aware of what our goal is?
We're not trying to do anything to this world. We're trying to make a different world. That should be none of their concern.
Okay.
Plus,
how do you want to make a new world? I'm a bit lost.
I don't know. Get a shitload of fucking magic and then recreate Genesis?
Oh my goodness, we could make a planet out of trash.
I super appreciate your enthusiasm, but I don't think that's how it works.
I have a first step that, I haven't gotten to say yet.
What is it? What is it?
What is it?
Okay, look, I wasn't really there for, dealing with that guy who has powers that are the opposite of mine. But first step does involve getting rid of him. So, again, but this is the hard part. I need a lot of juice, and then I'm going to use that juice to eat him.
Absolutely not. We're going to destroy him for destroying my parents.
I mean,
and if you do this, it might come down to destroying you because
Pause. It sounds like I'm not sure. I'm hearing a misunderstanding on Mara's part. Is that?
She would like to end the Herald and stop, period.
I feel like that's what Minerva just proposed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as far she would like the Herald's energy to be gone. Because as far as Mara is concerned, by consuming the Herald, how do we know that the Herald does not overtake Minerva?
Okay, let me check in with Minerva, Persephone, because we're paused right now. Persephone, were you thinking absorb the Herald's energy?
Yes.
Can it be altered to? I don't know. No, I don't think it can. I'm trying to think.
I think, and maybe we can just sort of talk about this out of character for a second. What Minerva's idea was, out of character, I could say the word kill. We can't kill the Herald because his power is death. It wouldn't work. But if Minerva eats him, that's the okay, so I have to use a little bit of a metaphor here. Are y'all familiar with Magic the Gathering?
Yeah.
Tap him for energy?
No. This is not tapping him for energy. This is path to exiling him.
Okay, that I don't know.
It's exiling him. Or it would be
Okay,
I guess, are y'all familiar with Steven Universe?
You mean put it in gray, but I get it.
It's the equivalent of either one of two things would happen if this worked successfully. Number one, Minerva gets 2 sets of powers. Number 2, they fuse into some kind of life-death malachite.
Or 3, you become a pain in our side, just like when Stray was in Cameron, and we have to deal with that.
Okay.
Which would also be Mara's argument as to why this is a horrible idea.
So I feel like Mara's concerns are valid, and I feel like one of the things you're trying to do, Minerva or Persephone, is to find ways to avoid that in prepping for doing this to the Herald.
Yes.
So here's my question to you, theater nerd, not Mara. If in pursuing this, you found a way that you could not necessarily guarantee, because guarantees, but account for stealing all of his good stuff and then killing him, could Mara be on board with that?
Possibly.
Okay.
And I say possibly because he is literally the Herald is literally her fear stimulus.
This is true.
This is not even like Mara would like to be the one who just ends him. Because she wants that, but that's really unrealistic. I don't know that with Minerva, or if Minerva becomes this weird thing that eventually down the line maybe we deal with or we just let be, because she becomes some hybrid death life fate thing, it would just be difficult for her.
That makes sense. Persephone, did you have something to say there, or
I
were you?
did have another thing, and that's, again, I understand there's bleed as a thing. I do not like the immediate reaction to be like, no, if you try and do this, I will try to kill your character.
Is that what you were trying to say, theater nerd?
I mean, yes, in a way. I think it's a horrible in character. I think it's a horrible idea, which was Mara's. That was a completely in character reaction to it.
I want to know if theater nerd's reaction to that is, I think maybe we should kill Minerva if this happens. That's my question.
I think we need to be prepared to.
You, theater nerd, think that, not Mara.
Yes.
Okay, so Persephone, Persephone. That probably doesn't help you at all, does it?
No. Because there's a lot of unknowns. Our show is Unknown Girl Society. Yeah, it's just, and again, it kind of feeds into things we glossed over.
I think this is probably why this would be maybe my request of you, theater nerd. Would you be willing, again, let me check in with Persephone real quick. Persephone, is your concern that Mara had that reaction or that theater nerd had that reaction? Because I'm hearing the second.
Both.
Okay. If it was just Mara, would that be acceptable?
If it was just Mara, Persephone would not really have as much of concerns, although that would feed into Minerva's concerns that we glossed over.
This is, I think, going back, how about, this is kind of my rewind kind of thought, theater nerd. What if we toned down, like, instead of...
Maybe I was a little hasty in my words, but I think you should also understand where I and Mara are coming from, because there is a lot of history between the Herald and my character.
I guess that.
Be like, I'm gonna eat him.
Theater nerd, I do want to point out I was talking safety tools and you just talked over me.
Sorry, continue.
Thank you. I know that was not intentional and I'm not angry. What I'm thinking is, what if instead of we do a reframe on what you were saying, so that's instead of like, we might have to end you, what if it's like, if this goes bad, if you lose control, then we would have to do something about you? Because that seems like something Minerva would be on board with. Like, if I lose control, yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
Would that be something that you and Mara could say, theater nerd?
Fine.
I know that's not perfectly in character, but that lets us tone it down a little bit, but still get the heart of your message, which is, if this thing wins and becomes you, basically, right? Am I getting you?
Yeah, and like I said, it was maybe a hasty reaction to, I want to eat the thing that I know killed your parents.
Yeah.
So can I say, I admit that was a little glib. However, I think from Minerva's perspective, just like, Mara perhaps thinks she was trying to tank, this is Minerva trying to tank. This is saying, I have a plan, let me help you.
What if we do a quick aside that we don't actually play out, where you both kind of come to terms on that and understand what each are talking about? What do you think of that? Would that work for you guys?
Yeah, half in character or something?
Yeah,
I think this can also be something that's discussed further as we discuss, like,
what we're gonna do.
Well, no. The stuff that we decided we weren't initially going to discuss.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I do want to take one moment because it looked like Connie was about to say something.
Yeah, a possible way that we could approach this, having been worked out, is this is what Adora thinks you're saying and could say to both of you. This is a really great idea where, Mara, you get to help us plan on how to get rid of this person who took your parents away. And Minerva, you're going to be like the god of reincarnation.
And recycling.
Yeah.
Or something. Who knows? I mean, I personally am uncomfortable with that term, but maybe
because I think reincarnation doesn't actually
you have to die
imply death. It implies rebirth. And because you, Minerva, are taking on that aspect, you don't have to include the death part. It's just the rebirth.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Taking on new forms.
I'm
One-
getting a vibe that the three of you are roughly on the same page and kind of okay with.
Roughly, I think so.
Is that a good read on all of you? Theater
Yeah.
Nerd, Persephone, and Connie.
Yeah.
I want to check in with Alexis and Elizabeth because they haven't said much. Because my understanding of Alexis and Elizabeth is this might scare them completely. Because
Yes.
I was just saying because I was thinking of like your fear stimulus, but I don't know. Maybe this is good. So I kind of giving you the I kind of want to give you the space to chime in on that.
Elizabeth doesn't like any of the current talk because, as you said, she has her fear, and one of her main goals right now is to protect everyone, and none of this is jiving with that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I'm trying to figure out what we can do to get. First of all, Alexis, you're okay. That's my current understanding. Is that accurate?
I'm okay-ish, yes.
Okay-ish. All right. I'm trying to figure out what to do with to make this. I don't know. Maybe that's the end. Is the end of this scene that Elizabeth is concerned that we're gearing up to fight? I don't know if it's a demon. And like, I don't know.
In character, she would speak out as I did against engaging the invisible clergy either through direct violence or subterfuge. Either of these look like really bad ideas.
Okay.
And the thing is, I, the player, can go along with these plans because I'm not too fussed about the direction of the story. But I am a little bit fussed that I feel like my character's main motivation goes kaput if we do.
And that's
perhaps it can be retooled as I'm trying to protect them from what they're trying to fight. But I would have to think about how to do that at a later point.
And it might be this is one of the things I'm trying to think about because it might also be necessary to retool the plan a little bit to get your character connected to it, like because it's not Elizabeth bad, it's what.
Can I just ask a question real quick? So I want to
Sure.
make sure I understand Elizabeth's motivation. Elizabeth wants to protect everyone, meaning the Cabal, from danger?
Specifically our player characters,
Okay.
so our Cabal.
Okay. Cool. I just wanted to make sure I understood. Because my website,
specific, it's
yes.
violence that's in question. She doesn't want them to have physical harm.
Okay. And since this involves them getting into a potentially a Nikki situation with violence, she wants to go a completely different direction rather than confront the Herald.
Not just the Herald. The thing is, she's afraid that, and like, the physical violence is the primary issue, but she's aware that any of these paths will be emotionally taxing to all of the characters, and as such, none of this looks like a good idea to her. That said, I don't want to use her motivation as an excuse to completely roadblock everything. I am prepared to. I have one idea how to do something about her. So if I can address something else real quick, as a player, I feel like my character doesn't really seem superfluous to the plans.
And that's a valid concern, because right now, if the plan is to go take down the Herald, Elizabeth doesn't have a direct connection. Now, if
I have a suggestion that might work, because you're about protecting against violence. And I don't know if in the game world this is actually possible, but could we not do warding rituals or some sort of protection magic on items, which could theoretically protect us from harm or danger? That's something that Elizabeth could put her energy into, or their energy into, trying to find a way to do that.
Along those lines, I had the idea of the character could pursue power for the sake of acquiring power for the sake of being able to protect everyone. Yes.
Now, I guess one of my questions is, Alexis, would that be fun for you? Because I know for you, Elizabeth was a different sort of character, and I don't want to deprive you of that.
I think unless this is super important right now, I'd rather discuss this later, because I
Certainly.
don't know.
And there's some stuff that there's a couple of reveals that we haven't gotten to, believe it or not.
Oh, great.
That might interest you and impact it, because I know one of the storylines that you Alexis expressed interest in were like one of them was like the Shay storyline, and that's not, you're tied to that, and that's not apart from this, and I'm wondering if Shay is threatened by the Herald, does protecting Shay from the Herald as a storyline interest you as a player?
Good question.
Which you don't have to answer right now, if you're not sure.
I would just like to point out that Adora has not signed on for this mission. Like, this is still just like trying to see what everybody wants and working on making a goal after. So just to clarify that, Adora is not like, this is what we're doing, I love this goal, let's go for it.
That is a good thing to point out, because I am misunderstood.
Yeah, this is not like set in stone yet.
This is more of a brainstorming session. Nothing's been picked. Is that accurate?
Mm-hmm.
I think so, yeah.
I think this was our in-character discussion of if we wanted to pivot our ultimate goal for the season.
Yeah.
Or at least the beginning of that discussion.
I think it's important that it's the beginning of that discussion. I don't think we've reached any conclusions.
Well, Mara's going to do her website no matter what else happens. I mean, pretty much.
I kind of like the idea. I have an idea, because we're coming up on the end of our time. Elizabeth, I'm really glad you spoke up, because I think that's some really good points, because frankly, I love Elizabeth and I want her to feel valued. I love all of your characters, and I don't want her to feel sidelined. So what if the end of this scene is Elizabeth speaking up with her concerns? Am I pronouncing accurately? I forget.
Sure, it's fine.
Oh, okay, cool. Sorry. What I feel like maybe the end of this scene is just like the four of you talking and connecting, and definitely not always agreeing, like very clearly like not agreeing, and eating pizza, and the cat is there, and it's just kind of, this is a long conversation, and like, like we kind of like fade out from the windows of that. And that kind of just goes on as we're working these things out. Does that sound good to everyone? Because
yeah, I think that's probably a good place to end this session, certainly.
Yeah.
Does that work for you, Elizabeth?
Yeah.
Theater Nerd? I feel like Theater Nerd accomplished the mission, or Mara accomplished her mission, which was get everything on the table.
Yep.
Hopefully we will figure out something.
I'm not sure it went the way she was expecting it to, but it happened.
I like the idea that everybody is now, even if they're not agreeing, in the same room, supping at the same table. That warms my heart. Does that? Can I make that a heartwarming? Can we have a heartwarming ending, even if we don't agree?
Yes.
I love it.
I feel like Mara has even shared her monsters with everyone.
Aww.
That's a lot for Hacker Girl.
Alrighty. Monster Energy, please sponsor us.
Ah! So you can see my inner big Care Bear energy trying to influence the direction of the plot. Next session, I will kill all of the NPCs. No, wait. I mean,
Next session, we will kill all the NPCs. No.
I have almost killed Max several times.
Who's Max?
Max is the bodyguard that is insightful that Elizabeth had that talk with about whether or not people's initial actions.
Oh, that guy who
Yeah.
I made pizza with the other guy.
Yeah, you made pizza with
this
Rosamund. This was the ingredients gathering. I love Max, and I've been meaning to kill them for a long time. And I love Rosamund, and we just haven't had time for Rosamund to ask out Minerva. Yeah, that's a thing.
I feel like Minerva is definitely more interested in. Oh fuck! Persephone can't remember her name.
Atropos?
No.
Who's the first?
I mean, Atropos is Atropos. What I was going for was
Lana, the camera chick.
Yes.
Ah.
Oh come on! Come on, Minerva, have better taste than that.
Hey, I love Lana.
Lana's good friends with Adora.
Whoa.
And on that note, I have been Silent Ferrets. Please check out my games at silentferrets.itch.io. We were going to be rating Plastic Cage Plays. This has been Welcome to the Party, Unknown Armies 3rd edition, Heartfelt Unknown Girl Society. We have been joined by Minerva.
Hi, I'm Persephone.
Mara.
Hi, I'm Theater Nerd. I won't be here next week. Hopefully for the last time before we're done.
Adora.
Hey, I'm Connie-O. Have a good night, guys.
Elizabeth.
Yeah, have a good night.
And Andy on drums. Doing our production stuff. And so please stick around. And I'm sure I skipped something that I'm supposed to talk about, but thank you all for watching. The raid will go in 10 seconds. So everybody wave your little hearts out.
Raid! Woo!
Raid! Burn, pillage!
World first raid!